All right, I have a few points. Some of it was already talked about, so I'll try to keep it really, really brief. As of now, the current law states that if you are a felon, if you are convicted of a crime, and if you go to apply for a job, it already states that the crime, if it's in relation to the job description, that the employer does not have to hire you. So we don't need to continue to keep talking about whether or not if this law passed, will people be disenfranchised, because that's already stated as of right now. But what I do want to talk about is if this bill does pass, what would this bill look like and what would it do to the community? In 2009, Mark Levine did a study in Milwaukee, a professor for UWM. And in his study, it said that a black man compared to a white man, if they have the same criminal background, the white man will get the job first. A black man compared to a white man, with a white man having a criminal background and a black man not having a criminal background, the white man will still get the job first. It also says that a black man with an educational background, with no criminal background, compared to a white man who has no educational experience and no criminal background, the white man will still get the job first. So when we talk about disparities and when we talk about who's most disenfranchised from employment, specifically in Milwaukee and in the African American and people of color communities, it's already been proven based off of studies by professors who have proven that people are being discriminated against when it comes to employment. Also, when we talk about who's mostly likely to be disenfranchised by this bill, currently, as of right now in Milwaukee, most people who's disenfranchised by a felon are young people under the ages of 25 years old, and is growing even younger now. The youth juvenile justice system is looking at ways to go back and look at our young kids' history at younger ages, as young as 12 years old, and try to connect them now as adults. So we understand as of now that more young kids will be affected by this bill if it passes in the future. Now, we've been following this bill since it's been an assembly bill, and then it kind of went underground. The people didn't hear about it. Within 2 weeks, there has been a public hearing and a vote within the committee, which passed with a 6-3, that truly upset the people. On Friday, we found out about the Senate bill that was taking place here on Monday, the public hearing, and we called an emergency press conference, which went national on Friday, and it went to MSNBC. The community, people in other states, they're crying out. They want to know exactly what's going on in Wisconsin and what does this bill truly mean to people not being able to work again ever in the state of Wisconsin, because that's what this bill says. It says that if you're a felon, you will never ever be able to work again in the state of Wisconsin. Now, I would like to break something down. Scott Walker promised X amount of jobs to the state of Wisconsin. Now, if this bill passed, what this bill does is all of these people who are felons, they would become ineligible to work. All right, so if they're ineligible to work, it takes them out of the unemployment percentage bracket. Now, if it takes them out of the unemployment percentage bracket, then it shows that Wisconsin unemployment rates has went down. When in reality, the only thing that this bill did was it eliminated people who's eligible to work right now in the state of Wisconsin, and it took them out of the population pool for people who's able to work, and it leaves a portion of the people left to starve, left to fend for themselves, and pretty much left to enter back into the prison system. Now, when we look at the prison system, we understand the disparities are high among African American men and among people of color. You make more money, the states make more money off of a person being incarcerated than they do in school, okay? When we also look at the prison systems, we understand that everything now is becoming privatized. Yeah. So when we look at our prison systems and when the guy was talking about the prison committees, we understand that this bill is no more than to continue to have young people of color, and not only people of color, but people who are felons across the board, to enter back into the prison system, which has already been stated where you can work for a minimum wage, 16 cent, 80 cent, whatever. And you pretty much will be stuck there because once you get out of prison, you won't be able to find a job again. So as of now, the revocation rate is about 83%. All right. So if this bill passed, we understand that these numbers are going to skyrocket and prisons are going to become big businesses. So we have to stop this bill because of that. The guy came up here with Alberta Darling, I forgot his name, and he said that he was for the Civil Justice Council, quote unquote. He's representing big businesses. So his interest, he had no numbers on how many people will be affected by this bill if this bill passed without the state of Wisconsin. He was able to give us a very little information about what this Civil Justice Council looked like. The only thing he knew was that he was hired from them, and he was here to represent the big corporations, and that's why he wanted this bill passed. Now, he spoke extensively about how this bill is only to stop people from suing, but young African American men are not suing because they're not getting employed. They already know that is discrimination taking place on their employment. So we are interested in finding out those numbers on what it is that he's talking about, and we want a public hearing in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where the majority of people who will be affected by this bill stays and resides. We want our elected officials to stop representing big corporations and quote-unquote small businesses, when in reality that's not what it's about, but we want them to represent the interests of the people. And as of now, the people do not want this bill to pass. So with that being said, the community in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, allies that we have throughout Wisconsin and throughout the United States, we will be following this. We are interested to see if we're going to get our press conference in Milwaukee, and if not, then there will be more action from the people in the community to come. Thank you.
Any questions for the committee? No questions?